Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something I think we all feel deep down, that gap between looking good and actually being good. We're going to talk all about the quiet virtue of true worth. So let's just jump right in with a big question. Why do we get so hung up on appearances? You know that feeling, right? You do all the hard work, you build something solid, but the person with the flashiest presentation or the slickest pitch gets all the credit. It's frustrating, for sure. Today, we're going to unpack why that happens and maybe, just maybe, find a better way to think about it. All right, first, let's get on the same page with a keyword here, ostentatious. It sounds kind of fancy, but it just means being showy on purpose. It's not just about having something cool, it's about making absolutely sure everyone sees you have it. This is really the heart of what we're talking about, that classic clash between substance and show. And that idea leads us straight into our first section, the recognition trap. This is all about why we get so tangled up in appearances and why it drives us crazy when style seems to beat substance every single time. Here's the thing. It's not you. It's not some kind of character flaw. Our brains are literally hardwired to want that quick hit of approval. Instant gratification. A like, a compliment, a little bit of praise. Man, it feels good. It's the fastest way to get a little boost, and it's totally natural to want that. And because we're all wired that way, it just plain stinks when you're the one doing the quiet, important work behind the scenes. You see someone else, who maybe didn't do half of what you did, soaking up all the attention just because their work was more visible. I love how blunt the source material is here. It's okay to admit it. Sometimes it makes you angry. And this really is a central battle, isn't it? You've got substance on one side. That's the hard work, the long-term effort, the stuff that makes a real impact. And on the other side, you've got style, the high visibility stuff, the quick wins, the things that grab attention right now. All that frustration we feel lives in the tension between these two. Society tells us to value substance, but boy does it love to reward style. So, the big question is, how do we escape this trap? Well, let's move on, because this is where we start building toward a real solution. It's all about making a pretty fundamental shift in how we think, taking what you might call the quieter path. I absolutely love this quote. It's such a perfect metaphor, right? The loudest jacket, that's the ostentatious stuff. The flashy job title, the show-off project, the success everyone can see. It gets all the looks, sure, but does it actually provide any real lasting warmth? Any real value? This idea really pushes us to ask ourselves, what does warmth even mean? Which, of course, is the perfect next question. If that loud, flashy jacket is just for show, then what actually gives us that genuine warmth? What's the real substance that can actually sustain us long after the applause dies down? And here it is. This is the big, kind of radical idea at the center of it all. What if the answer isn't about figuring out how to get more recognition for your quiet work? What if the answer is to just stop caring about recognition in the first place? The source says that if we can get into the right state of mind, the loud jackets of the world just lose all their power over us. This brings us to our final, and I think most powerful section, finding that warmth of true worth. This is where we completely redefine what a reward is. We're moving away from chasing public praise and moving towards something much, much deeper. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, it boils down to 3 really clear steps. First, you stop trying to impress some huge, faceless crowd, and instead you focus on the people you truly, genuinely care about. Second, you change how you keep score. Forget counting likes or compliments. Measure your success by watching them grow, by seeing them succeed. And third, that's where you find your reward, right there in those results. When you make that mental switch, your entire idea of a reward just transforms. It's not about what you get anymore, the applause, the credit, the attention. It becomes about what you give. The reward is seeing the positive change you've created, watching your little corner of the world get better because of your steady, quiet work. And when your satisfaction comes from the impact you make, not the praise you get, something incredible happens. All those other things, the likes, the promotions, the shout-outs, they're still nice, I guess, but they just don't matter as much. Because you found it. You found the one true reward. The one that's real, the one that lasts, and the one that nobody can ever, ever take away from you. So I want to leave you with this to think about. In your own life, your job, whatever you're working on, what's one loud jacket you're wearing? What's one thing you're doing mostly for the attention that you could decide to take off this week? And what could you focus on instead that would bring you some of that real warmth? It's a pretty powerful question. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.